Hey, wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about a scripture I found in Proverbs I'd like to share with you. This is Proverbs 4, verses 45 through 47. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. So as I was thinking on that, a lot of things came to mind, but fixing your gaze straight ahead, fixing your gaze really upon the Lord. And, there are some things with horses that help them fix their gaze. And I was thinking about that, blinders that that people use for horses. What are the purpose of blinders? Usually blinders are thought of as a negative thing. If I tell someone they've got their blinders on, they're not seeing the whole picture. They're just focused on what's right in front of them, and it's a bad thing. You need to take off your blinders, or you're being blinded by the craftiness of Satan. And I think that's a very true thing, but I think there's also another way to think about it. Could it be a good thing to have blinders on for the Lord? What could it be that the Lord's blinders give us freedom and Satan's blinders lead us to misery and captivity? What purpose do blinders serve for racehorses? What do they do? I think they limit their vision so they're not focused on what the horses next to them are doing. They're looking straight ahead. Their vision is fixed on that finish line to give the finish line all the efforts, their complete focus to finish the best possible way that they can. I don't know a lot about horses. I don't know a lot about blinders. Matter of fact, guess I'm kind of a city person, but I'd love to change that. Dream to be in the country and to be self-sufficient. There's this guy on YouTube that he has a channel. The name of his channel is Working Horses with Jim. And, he comes from a long background of that. He grew up in a logging camp. Well, his father grew up in a logging camp. And so in this episode, he's using a couple of draft horses to do some logging, which is very interesting. And I think there's a lot of similarities between this relationship that he has with these horses as we have with the Lord. He actually gives 3 reasons for using blinders on horses. And the first one, I won't show you that clip, but he basically says he feels like it's a personal preference. The horses look naked without them. So that's interesting. But he also says in this next clip that it limits their vision, which requires them to have greater trust in him as their master and driver, because they can't see as well without the blinders. And I'd like to just real quickly share that clip with you because I thought it was very interesting. And while I share this, listen to the way he talks to these horses in short, let me make sure I'm going to do the sound here, in short little commands and phrases. I think it's very interesting. It's almost, he doesn't raise his voice. He's not using angry terms or swearing at these horses. He's kind and a very interesting relationship. I think working together as a team, they accomplish a lot more than they're working separately.
As you can see, the horse is going to back up this hill right here. They can't see where they're going, so they've got to trust me. and that I wouldn't ask them to do something that they can't do. So I'm going to ask them back up this hill. I am getting off the cart because it's hard to back up a hill like this. G a little bit. G. Bye. G. 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 Yep. G. G a little bit. G. Oh. Oh. Happy. Oh. Bye. Bye up here. Just up a little bit. Oh. I'm going to run this down, and I got one more hit.
So very interesting. I don't know if you caught that, but the words and phrases he was using, very light on the reins. They seem to have kind of a connection together, the three of them, and these horses know who's in charge. They are very responsive to these phrases. They do exactly as they're told, and together they work as a team. They can't see the whole picture. Jim is directing them to keep them away from danger, and he would never ask them to do anything that would harm them or is not in their best interest. I think you can see a correlation. You know, a lot of times it requires 100% of our trust in the Lord and recognizing His voice in order to stay on the correct path. So that's two reasons. Let me see if I can find the other reason that he talks about for using these blinders, which is really out of safety to help them. Just a second here.
So what happens when I'm logging, and especially when I'm around this balsam spruce and balsam and spruce, but it doesn't matter. Pine trees, it doesn't matter. Hardwood trees even. As you're driving horses through the woods, if you got trees like this and the branches are snapped off type of thing, if you look at that pointed branch right there, and can you just imagine a horse swinging his head over and hitting that, poking that right into his eyeball? What do you think's gonna happen? It's not gonna be pretty.
So don't break those off so that they actually do it right now.
So very interesting. Obviously, so the blinders are used not only to kind of limit their vision and create more trust with the driver, but also for their safety. They don't want an eye poked out. So something that limits their vision, something that limits them is for their safety. Of course, the vision that we have compared to the Lord is it's much reduced. So it requires 100% trust in Him. So let me read again that Proverbs scripture, Proverbs 4:45 and to 47. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before me. Give careful thought to the paths where your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. Like I said, our vision is very limited compared to what the Lord sees. We have to trust Him, knowing that He would never ask us to do anything that we could not do, or that was not for our benefit, or that would cause us great harm. We need to put the Lord's blinders on, put them on our eyes to see what He sees, put the blinders on our ears to hear only his voice and to screen out all other voices, and put blinders on our hearts to desire only the things that he would have us desire. Thanks.